David Perdue grew up working his family's farm in Middle Georgia.
He grew up modestly like we all did here, packing watermelons, picking watermelons, toting watermelons. He got the real deal stuff here, the morals, the values, the work ethic.
David Perdue knows how vital agriculture is to our Georgia economy. He wants to serve on the Senate Agriculture Committee to help Georgia farmers grow.
I'm David Perdue, and I approve this message.
He thinks massive government spending will fix our economy. She'll vote, well, for whatever he wants.
I defer to the President's judgment.
Washington is addicted to spending, and our kids and grandkids are inheriting massive debt. If we significantly cut government spending, actually balance the budget, and pay down our debt, we can unleash this economy and help future generations grab on to our American dream. I'm David Perdue, and I approve this message.
I'm Michelle Nunn, and I approve this message.
Michelle Nunn, CEO of the world's largest volunteer organization. But David Perdue says he's more qualified because he's been working in the real world. Oh, really? In Texas, Perdue's company moved production to Mexico. He was CEO of another company that went bankrupt. Thousands lost jobs, but Perdue made millions. And in Georgia, Perdue's company closed plants and moved jobs to China. David Perdue, his world doesn't include you.
In her campaign plan, Michelle Nunn admits she's too liberal, and her foundation gave money to organizations linked to terrorists. So Nunn needed to fool Georgians to win. She attacked David Perdue with ads that independent fact-checkers called mostly false and a stretch. David Perdue spent his career creating thousands of jobs. Perdue will grow this economy and bring common sense to Washington.
I'm David Perdue, and I approve this message.
Sometimes something is what it is. Take Michelle Nunn. She says she's a moderate, but she's received big bucks from big labor unions, Washington insiders, and Hollywood liberals. She's backed by President Obama, and the White House says she's critical to their agenda. But yet, she calls herself a moderate. When it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
What kind of senator would Michelle Nunn be?
I'm proud to have worked with President Obama.
A rubber stamp for Obama's liberal values.
I am very grateful for my service with President Obama.
Obamacare, higher taxes, billions in cuts to Medicare. That's the Obama-Nunn liberal agenda.
I defer to the President's judgment.
Michelle Nunn. She'll be Obama's senator, not yours.
NRSC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Michelle Nunn's own plan says she funded organizations linked to terrorists. She's for amnesty, while terrorism experts say our border breakdown could provide an entry for groups like ISIS.
If a country can't protect its borders, what can it protect? To me, the answer is crystal clear. Actually secure our borders, enforce our existing laws, and once and for all, forget amnesty. I'm David Perdue, and I approve this message.
David Perdue's running ads saying that while I led President Bush's Points of Light Foundation, we funneled money to terrorists. That's a terrible lie and an insult to the millions of volunteers I worked with to make a difference. David Perdue's ad has been called the worst in America, and President Bush's son called it shameful. I'm Michelle Nunn. These kind of attacks are what's wrong with politics. I'm determined to bring decency to Washington. That's why I approve this message.
I defer to the President's judgment. I am proud to have worked with President Obama. I am very grateful for my service with President Obama. I defer to the President's judgment.
NRSC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
What does Michelle Nunn worry about most? It's not the economy, and it's not you. Nunn's own campaign worries she is, quote, too liberal, a lightweight, and not a real Georgian. Nunn's campaign worries she's a rubber stamp for Democrats, and that her foundation directed grants to an Islamic group tied to radical terrorists. If Nunn's supporters are worried, Shouldn't we be too? Ending Spending Action Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.